friends, it is Danny. Today I am doing yet another book wrap-up because the last one that I did was a collective wrap-up and this one is for October because it's the end of October. Well, now it's the beginning of November when you're watching this, but yeah. Today's Halloween for me, but it's probably November like something for you. My reading has been better. It has been better. This month I think I read 7 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. It doesn't look like I've read that much by the thumbnail probably, but 4 of those books are audiobooks from Overdrive because I renewed my library card. This is what happens when you're allergic to like 17 types of dust and everything. So when we left off, I had stopped just at the end of September and I had to stop before this book because I had read this book in the first week of October. We're kind of starting off on a sour note, but that's okay. The first book that I read in October was Dark Horses by Cecily von Zigzag. If you've watched my past like 3 videos, you will know that I absolutely hated this book. And this book is about a girl who is mourning the loss of her grandmother, and she's got an addiction to, well, not really an addiction, she's got a problem with drugs and alcohol. So she gets sent to Good Fences, which is a therapy program that brings in troubled teens with equestrians, so horses, and she meets Red, which is the second point of view in this. Did I mention her name is Merritt? I probably should have mentioned that. I don't know if I did. But Merritt meets Red, and those are our 2 point of views from this book. I hated Merritt. I hated Red. I hated his point of view, the way he was written. I hated the plot. It was sometimes predictable, and then it was like, what the hell just happened? And that ending. I don't know how to elaborate on how much I hate it other than the fact that like I only gave it 1 star. So I guess that stands for itself. And I will be doing a review on this book at some point, and maybe then I'll figure out how to collect my thoughts and explain why I hated it so much. Another book that I read was a book I was sent for review just after I got Dark Horses and finished it. And I finally finished Dark Horses so I could read this, and I'm really glad that I did because this was a million times better, and that is Buffering, Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded by Miss Hannah Hart here on YouTube. Basically, these are just short essays about Hannah's life, which I found very interesting because, okay, here's the thing. When you look at YouTubers, you typically assume that they're perfect. Maybe that's just me, but I tend to just watch the videos and see them as the person that's in the video. I don't really think of their lives outside of YouTube unless it's like they're sharing a video about their life and I learned something new about them. And that was what this was like. It's told in a very Hannah-esque sense for people who know who Hannah Hart is and how she is in her videos. It's still very Hannah-like, but it's also very proper sort of writing. And it covers some heavy topics. It talks about her relationship with her mom and her not so good relationship with her dad, and basically everything she wanted to share about her life, which I found very interesting and didn't expect a lot of it and was very surprised by a lot of it, but I enjoyed it. I will be doing a review for this. This came out on the 16th. I liked this a lot, so I gave it 4 stars. And then I read 4 audiobooks. So I'm gonna move on over here so that I can pop pictures in. So the first book that I got on audiobook is the entire reason why I renewed my library card, because I knew that if I did not renew this library card and I did not download this audiobook and listen to it right when it was signed out to me, that I would never get my hands on it ever again, because there was like 6 people waiting in line before I got it. And there's probably like 7 people after me who wanted it. And that is Hamilton, A Revolution by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeremy McCarter. Basically, this book is how Hamilton was made. It's like a how it's made episode of Hamilton. And it was so interesting because you got to see like how it went from the Hamilton mixtape that Lynn made and then performed for Obama at the White House, and then it led to the whole play, and then it showed like opening night, and it talked about all of how it came to be and how the songs came to be and who worked on it, and talked about all the people. And if you like Hamilton and you know all of the people now because you're obsessed like me, I'm sure you will love this. I thought originally that this was the book that Lynn based the play off of, but then I realized that with the cover, it didn't make sense that the cover was like not about Alexander Hamilton, but it was about Hamilton with his arm like that, you know? So now it made sense once I started listening to it, and I found it really interesting. It was like a whole behind the scenes book, and it just made me so happy. Like I was listening to it non-stop. I can't believe I just said that pun. That was awful. As you can tell, I absolutely love this book, and if you love Hamilton and you want to know how it was made, go pick up this book because it's amazing, and I give it 5 stars. After Hamilton, I was on a very big non-fiction biography essay sort of kick. And I guess it kind of started with Hannah, because after Hannah I read Hamilton. But I found Seriously I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres on Overdrive, so that was the next book that I took out and read. It was interesting. I mean, it's very Ellen, to say the least. Like, Ellen tends to go on tangents that don't really make sense sometimes, and some chapters were like that. I think it would have been interesting to be reading along with the book rather than just listening to the audiobook, and I think she might have changed some things because she was the one reading it. So I think she changed some things because it was an audiobook and there might have been graphics that we couldn't see or something. So for what it was worth of an audiobook, I liked it. I feel like I might have liked it better had I known what the book looked like, as well as listening to Ellen go on her little tangents. So I rated it 4 stars on Goodreads, but because we can't do the half-star ratings, technically it's only a 3.5 star book. So then I decided I didn't want to read another biography yet, so I found the audiobook of The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, which is a short story by the author of Gone Girl. I can't explain this book without giving the entire plot away because it's only like 66 pages. So I'm just gonna say it's a whirlwind of a trip and a lot of shit happens. Shit hits the fan real quick. But it was so interesting, and I've never read a short story that captivated me in that short of pages. This one did that, so I give it 4 stars. The last book that I read in October is another biography written and read by the same person, and that is Miss Betty White's If You Ask Me, and of course you won't. So this book was interesting because it's like basically just Betty White going on about how much she loves animals, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Miss Betty White because I grew up watching The Golden Girls with my nanny, and that was like our after school thing. We'd watch The Golden Girls and I'd sit there singing, "Thank you for being a friend, travel down the road and back again." It was interesting reading a book by one of like the actresses that I grew up watching and just hearing how much she loves animals. Like that 90% of the stories in here was about animals and how she works with animals and different animal societies, and like she's such a sweetheart. I can't. She's so cute. And I really don't know what else to say about this other than Betty White is so cute. So I gave her 4 stars, and her reading it just made it all the better. You could hear her little lisp from her teeth. It's so cute though. Technically, it is still October and I am currently reading a book, and that is ACOTAR. I'm reading ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. Maas. Sarah J. There we go. I am reading ACOTAR, Be Proud of Me. For those of you that don't know, ACOTAR is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I am currently reading that on ebook on my phone, but I'm not even close to done, so I'm not going to include that in this as like a wrap-up thing. Just a little what I'm currently reading that should be in my November wrap-up, but I really don't think I'm gonna read much in November just because it's NaNoWriMo. Which, can we talk about the fact that it's 7:30 right now when I'm filming this, and that means that there's like 5 hours, 4.5 hours until NaNoWriMo starts. By the time you guys see this though, it'll be like a week into Nano or later, so I don't know what my next video is going to be, whether or not I get filming done the rest of November. I'm debating on doing weekly NaNoWriMo vlogs or a full NaNoWriMo vlog. I think I'm going to do weekly though, only because there's going to be so much footage, especially within this second week, because I'm going to have write-ins that I go to and the night of writing dangerously, and potentially doing my own live show, so watch out for that. That is it for this video, you guys. I will see you in my next one, whatever that is. Bye! Thank you for watching my video. Hope that you really enjoyed the show. Hit the subscribe button down below and go and read some books.